Nothing But the Words, episode number 74. Top 5 signs you're ready to write your book.
Welcome to Nothing But the Words, the podcast that gives you everything you need to know to write a phenomenal book. Now here's your host, your author coach, Candace L. Davis.
Hey there, and welcome to Nothing But the Words. I'm your author coach, Candace L. Davis. I hope your week and your writing are going well. If you're not writing at all, I'm curious as to why you're stuck or haven't started yet. Sometimes I talk to a potential coaching client on a consultation call, and I can tell from our conversation that they're just not ready to write their book yet. There's nothing wrong with that person. It's just that I've been doing this for years now, and I can almost always tell when someone's ready to write their book and when they're not. When I first started coaching, I would still take these not yet ready clients on because I believed I could help them get ready to write their books. Often, I was wrong about that. In many of those cases, they were so far from ready that they chose to just skip their coaching sessions for which they have paid and not show up. They just didn't do the work. And even the best coach can't reach you if you don't show up. I should have followed my own good analysis and accepted that these future authors weren't ready to write their books yet. These days, if I think a potential coaching client isn't ready, I try to gently steer them to some steps to get ready. A lot of these steps can be found in the episodes of this podcast. Some are just a matter of taking control of their workload or their calendar or finding some things they can delegate. If you're thinking about writing a book, you may be on the fence about whether or not you're really ready. To help you make that decision, here are 5 signs that you're ready to write your book. Number 1, you've got a book idea that you believe in. Your belief doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to have some confidence in your idea. Maybe it isn't fully fleshed out yet, it isn't complete, that's fine. I help my clients get really clear on their book ideas all the time. But you have to believe in the power of your book to create transformation for your readers. You have to believe your book can change your business or help position you in a new way as an expert in your niche. You have to believe your book can open doors for you, that it can get results. Now, don't get me wrong, your belief does not have to be perfect. And frankly, you can't sustain it all the time. That's pretty difficult. We all have moments of doubt along the way. That's when, as your coach, I can lend you my belief in your book until you get ready to get back to your own. But a sure sign that you're ready to write your book is that you have a strong sense of belief in your book idea. Sign number 2 is that you can clearly see how your book aligns with your other goals. Writing a book takes effort. Even though that effort can be enjoyable, it can be enlightening, it's still work. And writing a phenomenal, world-class book takes sustained effort over a period of time, usually months, sometimes years. Along the way, lots of other great ideas are going to pop up. Maybe you should start a podcast, or try to speak at that conference you love, or launch a new course. You will be tempted to see lots of new goals and start new projects. And that can be fine, except when they displace the book that you've already started writing. But when you can clearly articulate how your book aligns with your larger goals as a writer, as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a citizen of the world, whatever goals matter most to you at this point in time, you're much more likely to commit to the process. You're much more likely to keep going when it gets hard, and to decide you will not give up until your book is finished and it can serve you in achieving your goals. The third sign that you're ready to write your book is that you actually have time to write your book, or you're prepared to make time. I took off a semester from undergraduate to work and save money for tuition. I say undergraduate, but that's the only degree I have. To work and save money for tuition. During that time, I worked 85 to 90 hours a week. I worked as a bank teller during the day and making pizzas at Pizza Hut at night, always on the closing shift. I was only 18 or 19 years old, but after a few weeks, that schedule got really hard to maintain. In fact, I was so tired all the time that one night I fell asleep and rolled through a stop sign after I had seen a cop right behind me. That did not end well for me that night. But if you had told me to make time to write a book during that period of my life, I would have laughed at you. Yes, I could have written a few words on my lunch hour, on each of my jobs, I guess, and it wasn't a lunch hour, it was a lunch 30 minutes. But my body and my brain were tired all the time. Sometimes you legit don't have time to write. And if you can't make time, then you're not ready. It's perfectly fine to accept that reality and then plan to restructure your life to make time to write. And a great author coach can actually help you come up with plans for that structure. The fourth sign that you're ready to write your book is that you're willing to do the work. Creating anything requires effort, and writing is no different. I just talked about the work involved in writing. And here's the truth. There is nothing wrong with you if you just decide that you're not willing to do the work right now. You're not interested. All it means is that you're not ready to write your book right now. Maybe you won't be ever. Who knows? We'll see. Some people in that situation who don't want to put in the work for whatever reason, they're too busy in their own minds. It just seems like more work than they're willing to invest. Some people in that situation will hire a ghostwriter. If that appeals to you, just keep in mind that even with a ghostwriter, you have to show up and do your part. You have to tell your story. You have to share your processes. You have to share your philosophies. You have to give the ghostwriter your content, usually through interviews, but you still have to show up for them. You also have to read and respond to everything the writer writes for you. You have to make time to read it thoroughly and give your feedback. Yes, it is definitely a lot less work than writing the book yourself, but it is expensive and it is not work-free. Now, here's the thing. If you're ready to do the work, honestly, I can coach you through just about any other obstacle in your way. I can help you find and clarify an idea you believe in. I can help you make sure your book aligns with your larger goals. And even in most cases, unless you're stuck on a 90-hour work week, manage your calendar so you can make time to write. I can help you with all those things, but you've got to be committed to doing the work. And the fifth sign that you're ready to write your book, the desire to write a book comes from within you, not from other people telling you that you should write a book. There are lots of people who I would encourage to write a book, but I usually keep that encouragement to myself unless they express an interest. Listen, I know a lot of author coaches, writing coaches, book coaches, experts will tell you that everyone should write a book. I don't believe that. I don't believe everyone should write a book. I believe everyone who wants to write a book should have the opportunity to do so. And wanting to write a book has to come from you. It can't come from other people. They're not making the investment. Even if you're hiring a ghostwriter, you're investing money and some amount of your time. And very few people will choose that path because it is costly. If your friends or your colleagues or your business coach are pushing you to write a book and you absolutely don't want to, then you're not ready to write a book. And that's perfectly okay. You may never be ready, but don't let anybody bully you into taking on a project this big. Because remember, once it's written and published, you'll be promoting it for months, maybe years, hopefully years into the future. So this is a book baby that belongs to you and you've got to raise it. Now, obviously, I'm speaking to people here who really deeply care about creating a book that represents them well in the world, creating something of quality and of value. If that's not interesting to the author, they could just have something dashed off by a ghostwriter on Fiverr, slap their name on it, and keep it moving. Although anyone who chooses that path really needs to do some checking because that could be not all original content. So you have to be really careful with that kind of path. I don't work with that kind of person who's looking for that result. I coach people who really care about the value their book is going to create in the world and also the value it's going to create for them. So if that's you, look at yourself, look at your life, and see if these 5 signs are showing up in your life. If you examine each of these signs that you're ready to write your book, you'll see that they all come down to the way you think about your book and the way you think about your life and the way you think about your own competence. At the end of the day, if you're not ready to write your book, you can absolutely get ready. Go back and listen to previous episodes of this podcast. I do a lot to help you get ready there. Sit down and journal about the real reasons you want to write a book, and keep in mind, there's no bad reason. Don't let anyone dissuade you from your reason. Every time I hear someone say they want to make money with their book, there's always a naysayer in the room. There's nothing wrong. In fact, I encourage you to want to make money with your book. And if you're on the fence about whether or not you're ready, you don't have to meet all 5 of these. But if you're on the fence about whether or not you're ready to write your book, hop on a consultation call with me and I'll help you figure out if now is the right time for you to become an author or if you need to put it off for just a little while longer. Visit CandiceLDavis.com/call to book a complimentary consultation. That's all for this week's episode, my friends. Thanks for listening to Nothing But the Words. I'm your author coach, Candace L. Davis, and I'll see you next time.